10 to 20% off inside their old-timey greenhouse. Check out the big color ad, then head to Bob Wine's Camellia Garden, Southeast 38th Street in Ocala, daily till 4, Saturdays till 3, in the same blooming place for going on 70 years.
Celebrity Soul Food flagship restaurant is now here in Ocala. Best-in-class service and legendary recipes. You'll be elevated with a classy design in this 3,800 square foot restaurant with a menu that has scratch-made dishes prepared with a VIP experience for every guest. Located at 2237 Southwest 19th Avenue, right on Easy Street. Celebrity Soul Food. This is food with soul.
Hey there, Dr. Manal Fakori here. As a small business owner, CEP member, and former chair of our Chamber of Commerce, I know firsthand how important public-private collaboration is for smart growth. Ocala needs leadership focused on increasing good-paying jobs, fostering small business growth, and building the infrastructure to sustain the population and business growth for our city. On September 21st, vote for a prosperous Ocala. Vote Dr. Manal Fakori for mayor.
The Ocala Golf Club, one of Ocala's premier golf courses, from its pristine 18-hole course layout to its amazing pro shop. Jason Linhart and the staff at Ocala Golf offer everything that you need for your golf outing. That's the Ocala Golf Club. Experience country club style golf at municipal prices. You won't go wrong with the Ocala Golf Club. Call them for a tee time today, 352-401-6917.
Hello, I'm Jay Musley, and it has been an honor to serve on the Ocala City Council. Our tax dollars are investments towards making Ocala a great place to live, and I am the only candidate with the record of putting the needs of Ocala residents and families before the special interests of a select few. I think experience and personal investment in the community is important. I have worked hard to promote jobs and make sure we invest in public safety. That is why I asked for your vote, Jay Musley, on September 21st. Paid for by Jay Musley, nonpartisan, for Ocala City Council, District 3.
Now you've done it. Have you lost your mind? He's back. And you're listening again. A legend in his own mind. Don't believe me? Just ask him. Here's Tom Schmitz live on WOCA. The Source.
Welcome back to Ocala Talks on a Friday. It is Prep Friday. High school football will be on the airwaves here at WOCA tonight, 6:30. Galen, you know, on the play-by-play. Myself on the color analyst part of it. And basically what that means is you'll hear a lot of Galen, and I'm eating cheeseburgers and eating some boiled peanuts. And every now and then I'll say, ooh, he really stepped up and filled that gap. So, you know, it looks like it's going to be a good night for me.
Yeah, let's hope I get more out of you than that. We'll try to make it entertaining.
Galen, it's fourth down. Galen, it's fourth down. Westport's got fourth down and Denellen to go.
Yeah, there you go. That's the kind of stuff I'm looking forward to. Those kind of genius quips right there. Yeah. But no, it'll be fun. You know, I know a lot of people who listen aren't necessarily have a fight, a dog in the fight, but I try to make it as entertaining as possible. It's more, for me, it's more of a conversation than it is, you know, a play-by-play. I am looking forward
to the game tonight, but it means that I have to go home and DVR because I'm really looking forward to the UCF Louisville game that takes place tonight as well.
Are you?
UCF goes to Louisville. I think UCF goes in there, wins the football game, comes out 3-0.
Well, Gus Malzahn's on the short list for a lot of these other higher profile schools that aren't even open yet.
I just don't understand. I don't understand why people don't realize UCF could end up being a high profile school if somebody just worked at it.
Well, let's say they're at 7-0, which if they win tonight, they should be.
They should be, yes.
Oh, I almost just got hit. If they get to that point, if they win tonight, they'll get to 7-0. Now they're in the top 10.
Yeah, right? They would have to
be. Best team in the state of Florida.
Yeah.
Because Florida's going to lose several times between now and then. Let's see why would Gus leave? He's got all the money he could want because UCF is the largest school. And I think
that's what people forget. That's what people forget. The largest public university in the state of Florida is not the University of Florida, and it's not even close. The University of Florida has about 59,000 students. UCF has about 73,000. It's not even close.
Plus, Florida is much more focused, and maybe this is right, much more focused on their academics.
100%.
And now that they're a top 5 public school in the country, and that is a huge deal.
By the way, that's U.S. Galen just giving you a bit of U.S. News and World Report's top colleges in the United States.
Right. And so Florida State's the state team. Miami, of course, is a private school. UCF isn't even in the top 50. Florida State is number 2 party school in the country. So my son applied. He finished all of his college applications yesterday. So Florida was on there. Stanford was on there. Florida State, Georgia Tech. And UNF is his bailout. So if he doesn't get into the other schools, he's going to go to UNF.
I wouldn't.
UNF seems like a far stretch from Johns Hopkins.
You know, here's the thing.
By the way, you know what makes me mad? Can I tell you this as a dad? So my son has an opportunity to walk on at Johns Hopkins and play basketball.
How's he not doing that?
You know, well, he doesn't want to play basketball in college.
Oh.
So I'm like, but that you could get in. And granted, I really don't want him to go there because it's $75,000 a year with no bright future money.
No.
So yeah. And I'm like, so why are you applying there if you could have just walked on and not even have to go through this process? Okay. So yeah, we'll see.
You know, it's one of those things where UCF sits at a unique ability to not only is it an easier university to get into academics-wise than Florida State, but their football team is on a roll right now over the last half a decade at least. So that helps. And it's in a place where, you know, 18 and 19, 20-year-old kids like roller coasters and like amusement parks, and you're right in the center of all that. There's a big draw to come to Orlando.
I think you're absolutely right there. It's an easy to get to airport. It's not like Gainesville. Gainesville's not easy to get to. So let's say you live in Louisiana or something, and you could just fly down, right? And you go right to the airport. UCF isn't that far from the airport.
Nope.
And you know, they play in a conference in which they can dominate. And we'll see if they get
vibrant
nightlife.
Oh,
absolutely. Yeah.
And it looks like they're going to the big. Looks like they're moving to the Big 12, which is a Power 5 conference.
I'm still not sold on that yet. We'll see. We'll see if the Big 12 just balloons up to, what are they talking, 24?
Speaking of how
16.
Speaking of how the change in conferences over the past decade have ruined football games and ruined rivalry games.
It has not ruined it. But,
well, it's messed with rivalry games. We can agree with that. It's changed rivalry games somewhat.
Changed them, and in some cases they become better.
Right. But one that was a staple when we were kids, because both teams were good. Now one team's good, one team's not good. But when a staple when we were kids, they get to lace it up and play each other again for the first time in a while. As the 2-1 Nebraska Cornhuskers face the 2-0 Oklahoma Sooners. Nebraska-Oklahoma used to be as important a football game when we were kids as Florida State was when we were in our 20s, or as Alabama and Clemson is now. That used to be a hugely important football game, Oklahoma-Nebraska.
Sure, but you could say that like, OU Colorado used to be.
Yeah, Colorado was a flash in the pan in the 90s. It wasn't that big. They weren't that good very long. They weren't that good very long.
Fifth down. I mean, the fifth down is arguably one of the top.
But Oklahoma-Nebraska is one of those rivalries that was there forever.
Agreed. Oh, I agree. Yeah, but Nebraska had all kinds of those rivalries. You know, all over the country, because they would have to travel in order to play people, and
because nobody wanted to come to Lincoln.
You know, Osborne was just the black shirts. You were scared to death of them.
They did have a mystique about them, didn't they?
Oh, absolutely. But you know what? That Florida State used to have a mystique. Now they're losing the directional school.
Okay. By the way,
Florida used to have a mystique.
By the way, can I just tell you, I don't know when the last time this was the thing. Florida State's a 6-point dog to Wake Forest.
I know. I saw that. I was like, oh, God. Oh, God.
I don't know that I've ever known them to be a
physically
touchdown.
painful.
I don't know that I've ever known them to be a touchdown dog to Wake Forest.
Well, I don't remember when they've been a 6-point dog to them in basketball.
I mean, wow. I didn't realize the line was that. And by the way, we're rolling out a new show today called What's the Line with handicapper Kevin Stone. He'll be on the radio every Friday at 10:30, handicapping 6 football games. One of them will include a Florida school or a Florida professional team. But this game here, Florida State, Wake Forest, 6-point dog. I mean, it's at Wake Forest, but that means you're going to play in front of a student body that's about, I don't know, Wake Forest has about 6,000 students.
Maybe. And it's worse than that. Did you see the report that came out what that locker room looked like after the game?
Oh, destroyed.
You know, this Florida State team has no pride. And that is something as a coach you have to instill. And I'm going to give Norvell, by the end of the year, if this team doesn't start showing some pride, then he's not the answer. And you know what you have to do? You have to start cutting guys. I don't know if you've seen the new docu-series that's on Barstool Sports about Deion Sanders as a coach.
Yes.
So one of the things he did, he got
Coach
there in
Prime.
spring practice.
Coach Prime.
Yeah. He cut like 8 or 10 guys who he didn't feel were good for the program.
Right, who were stalwarts in the program,
now,
by the way. A couple of them were guys who were cornerstones in the program.
Yeah, but what he did do is he said, I'm not taking your scholarship. You just don't have to come here anymore. You don't want to play? We don't really want you. We're going to separate. But you still have a scholarship.
I'm okay with that.
Absolutely.
Because the scholarship's only for 1 year anyway.
Correct.
You know, that's what people have this misnomer that when you sign a scholarship, it's for your 4-year career. No, a scholarship is signed every year. A new scholarship is signed every year.
What he did is he said, no, you know, one of them had 2 years left. You can continue to go to school here on scholarship. And I thought that's a classy thing to do.
My alma mater, 24-point dog, and I don't think it's enough. If I had a rule, I have a rule where I don't bet against. I don't bet where it includes the Atlanta Falcons, the Florida Gators, and the Georgia Southern Eagles, because your heart gets in the way of your head. But right now, looking at this line at 24 at Arkansas, the way Arkansas's played in the first 2 football games, 24 is not enough. Georgia Southern is going to get boat raced. They'll lose by 35, 36 points. Arkansas looks really, really good. I mean, they played schools that they're supposed to look good against, but they look really, really good. And then, of course, there's the game at 3:30 on Saturday. CBS. The number 1 ranked Alabama Crimson Tide coming into Florida Field to face the 2-0 11th ranked. If you believe the AP poll, I think they're ranked in the top 10 in the coaches poll, or the other way around, one or the other. But if you believe that, Alabama coming in at a 14.5-point favorite. The Florida Gators that I've seen play the last 2 weeks are bigger than 14.5-point dogs. I'm sorry, they just are. And if you look at the way Alabama's played, the way versus Florida, and I know everybody's talking about, here's the key, here's why they say the key. The freshmen from Alabama's never played in front of 95,000 angry people that don't like him and everything. And, you know, and that all, when you first walk out at Florida Field and you look around, I'm sure that's stunning. And I'm sure that has something to do with the first couple plays. Because when I walked on Jordan-Hare Stadium, when we played with Georgia Southern, played Auburn, we walked into Jordan-Hare Stadium. We were awestruck. I mean, literally awestruck. But ask Auburn at halftime who was awestruck, because Georgia Southern was winning the game 17-0. Ask Auburn because, by the way, you can be awestruck and everything, but once that ball snapped and somebody hits you in the mouth, then it's just football. It doesn't matter what team is on the other side. They got helmets, they got shoulder pads, and it's the same game you played since you were 6 years old. So, yeah, he could be awestruck when he first walks out there. But the first time that ball snapped and he hears crunching and people are around his legs and banging at him and everything, he'll get in football mode. That's what when I hear pundits talk about, oh, he's 90,000, he's never played in a hostile environment. Look, once you get hit in the mouth or once the game gets going, it's just football then. It doesn't matter whether it's 90,000 or 3. And people say, well, the crowd helps. The crowd, here's what I can't get people to understand enough. The crowd does help in between plays. But I promise you, when you get that 3 or 4 seconds where you're honed in and you're ready for that ball to be snapped and the ball snapped and you're moving around trying to make a play, it is almost silent to the players on the football field. Then the roar comes back. But once the play's going on, it's an almost silent moment for everybody playing on that field. And I don't think people say, I can't be that way. I'm telling you from experience, you hear the crowd in between plays, but you don't hear the crowd and you don't hear anything. Usually, most people don't anyway, my experience, with the plays going on. So I think that the crowd sometimes gets a lot more credit than they actually deserve.
Well, that's one thing. But I think a bigger piece is when the crowd is silent and you're the visiting team, it actually energizes you because you've been thinking. Because
you shut them up. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because you've got them. Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. If in between plays, if the crowd is, if you just hear a dull roar, you got them. Oh, of course. If you could silence the 12th man at Texas A&M, you got them. But that's only heard in between plays. I'm telling you, when you get concentrated, you get dialed in on what's about to happen, everything goes silent. And you hear players say that all the time, and people go, that's bull. There's no way. I'm telling you, that's what happens.
Oh, there's no doubt it happens. Absolutely. Absolutely. But I've also stood on the sidelines where it's so loud that the coaches couldn't even talk to their players on the sideline. At Florida State game, oh gosh, I'd have to think about 1998 or maybe 97, 98, Florida State game. It was the loudest stadium I've ever been in, period. Florida State came in as number 1, and Florida beat them with Noah Brandeis.
Right.
Never heard anything so loud in my life. I remember we were in I was working on the press, and we went in to do the interview, and I looked at the dude next to me, who was also from Jacksonville and in a radio station. I said, I can't. My ears are ringing. He said he was in the press box. He said it was so loud in the press box, we just stopped talking to each other.
Oh,
it was crazy.
Don't get me wrong. Florida Field is very, very loud. I'm not arguing that point either. Jordan-Hare Stadium is very, very loud. Tennessee, loud crowd. But on the field, when the ball's being snapped, none of that. You don't hear any of that.
But it does matter for if you're the home team and you can get some positive things going for you. I'll give you a perfect example. I think that crowd for Florida State helped them against Notre Dame. When you start hearing the band and you start getting confidence in yourself, I think that matters.
Let me ask you this question.
I do. I think that matters.
Let me ask you this question. Does it matter that South Florida may come out of this weekend 0-3? And I'll tell you why I'm saying that. You know who they play this weekend? They welcome in the Florida A&M Rattlers at 1-1. And I'm telling you, Florida A&M's got a shot at beating South Florida.
Yeah, they do. They have a legitimate chance.
Yes.
I'm kind of excited about this FAU team. There's a couple of kids
Florida
on there
A&M, Florida A&M, Florida A&M, not FAU.
Oh, I'm sorry, Florida A&M. I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm excited about this Florida A&M team. I think they have some real talent, and they haven't in a very, very long time. So I think they got a real chance.
So I think they got a chance to beat South Florida. And by the way, I was having this discussion last night with a friend who is a South Florida alumni. He's all South Florida. He thinks that, they're just falling on a little hard time. It's going to rebound and everything. I go, wasn't so bad having a head football coach that slapped a player upside the head now, was it? Boy, I bet you'd like to have him back, wouldn't you? Bet you'd like to have Jimmy back on the sideline now, wouldn't you?
Awesome.
And remember, Florida, USF was ranked number 2 in the country. Was flirting with the number 1 ranking at the time. And then their coach was summarily dismissed for striking a player with an open hand.
That's true.
What was that? Was that 12 years ago now? 10 years ago? Something like that?
Yeah,
10, 12 years ago?
Yeah.
And we talked about how South Florida was going to be the team. That UCF wasn't going to be the team. South Florida was going to be the next breakout team in the state of Florida. And then in one thing the coach did, slaps a player upside the head, and he's gone. And South Florida has tanked from that point on.
Well, again, I'm a big believer in that coaching matters.
Yep. And it certainly did.
It
certainly did at University of South Florida.
Absolutely, of course it did. But they've got to figure that out. And again, I think Florida, I think there's still some real questions about their coaching. By the way, it's more than the head coach. As I've said before, you've got to have that guy who's going to go recruit for you. And you've got to find the right guys for your system. And I don't know if they have found that. I really don't. I'm just not I don't believe in it. I just don't.
Besides UCF as a 6.5-point favorite, as a traveling team going into Louisville, the only other Florida favorite in the big colleges, and I don't understand it, Sparty comes in at 2-0 into Coral Gables, the 1-1 Miami Hurricanes. Hurricanes are a 6.5-point favorite. Nothing Miami's done this year says that they should be a 6.5-point favorite over anybody. 6.5-point favorite over Sparty. Sparty comes in at 2-0. Miami 1-1, ranked 24th in the country in the AP poll, out of the poll in the coaches poll. So the only two teams in Florida that are favorite this week, UCF and Miami against Michigan State and Louisville, one on the road, one at home. Florida at home, a 2-touchdown-and-a-half dog to Alabama. Florida State on the road, a 6-point dog to Wake Forest. And the South Florida FAMU game is a pick'em game.
Yeah.
Football's not doing well on the college level in the state of Florida right now.
No, it really isn't. But again, I think because so many kids we're
losing
kids
them.
are going unrecruited. They're just going unrecruited, and I think you can see that. And I just don't understand it. I just think these coaches are so enamored by these national polls instead of going to put eyes on guys, right? I'll give you a great example. Jaquez Green,
yep.
Right? You could make an argument top 3 wide receiver in the history of Florida football.
You could make that argument without much difficulty.
Okay. Unrecruited by anybody but the University of Florida.
Right.
Right? I'll give you another one. Freddie Swain from right here in Ocala at North Marion. Nobody else offered him
He
anything.
is in the NFL. He is in the NFL playing with the Seahawks,
right?
Because of the coaching he got from me on the Pop Warner North Marion Colts. Because of me.
Well, there you go. Well, that's what I was attributing it to. But again, they're not going after those kind of dogs.
Yeah.
And I look at it and I'm like, what?
And Freddie was a good kid. The reason Freddie didn't get recruited is amazing to me because Freddie was a good kid.
But that's the whole point, right? I see so many kids that I'm like, how is this guy not being looked at as, one of the top, I don't care how many stars he has. I see, like, the Randall brothers, the twins.
Yeah.
And they're not even getting a sniff. And
Nope.
I'm just floored by that.
It's amazing. It's amazing how the Florida schools aren't recruiting the talent in Florida. Hey, Galen, before we leave you, I got to give you this little quip that somebody sent me that sums me up. They said, I thought of you when I saw this. This sums up who you are. And I'm going to read it to you, and you're going to laugh loud. And it's poking fun at me. But if you can't poke fun at yourself, who can you poke fun at? It goes, me, sobbing my eyes out, my heart out. My eyes are swollen. My nose is red. Look. I can't see you anymore. I'm not going to let you hurt me like this again. Tom, it's only one sit-up. You did one sit-up, said my personal trainer.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
That pretty much sums me up, I think. That sums me up.
There you go.
Tom,
there you go.
You only did one sit-up, pal. One sit-up. It's my personal trainer. I'm never seeing him again. Never seeing him.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
So tonight, we're in the booth at Forest High School. On the call, Galen Unal, Tom Schmitz for Forest Westport. 6:30 on air, 7 o'clock kick. It will be some of the most fun you'll listen to on the radio. I promise you, folks, that I'm going to say something that gets this response. That's the dumbest thing you've ever said. I'm going to say something like that, and Galen's going to look at me and you won't be able to see it because it's radio. He'll look at me with his wide eyes, and he'll kind of give me that little half frown, and he'll kind of shake his head slowly and go, "That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard you say."
I say that almost every time I'm.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So it's not anything groundbreaking, but it's going to be said tonight.
Sure, I agree with you 100% there.
And it's going to be something along the lines of, "You don't want that hamburger, do you?" As I'm reaching over getting your food. That's probably what it's going to be like. That's probably what it's going to be from.
That's probably true.
Probably going to be from there.
That's absolutely
Hey,
true.
Galen, tell me. Yesterday we didn't have a chance to find out where the Bloodmobile was because Verizon quit working on you. So we were able to tell people to go. We were able to tell people to go to the office on the boulevard, though. If you wanted to go give blood, you were always open there. So, but yesterday Verizon precluded us from allowing people to know where the Bloodmobile was. But today it seems to be working, sorta. So where is the Bloodmobile today?
Hey, Bloodmobile today. We're right back at CF. And again, it's going really great. We're really happy to be there. But as always, as Tom said, you can come see us right there on the boulevard, 1607 East Silver Springs Boulevard. Please just get out there, give the gift of life. We're going to be all over the community this weekend. So find us and give blood.
That's right across the street from that bank that can't seem to make up can't make up its mind what its name's supposed to be.
Oh, my gosh. Every day it's something else.
Galen, talk to you next Monday.
All right. Bye, y'all.
You're listening to 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
Broadcasting from the Ocala International Airport, this is WOCA AM, W242CA FM, Ocala, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.